There's really not much else that can be said at this point. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Dirty Bird Fly Through. And look, there's really no, I think, actual recap you can do of this game. The Falcons lost in overtime to the Carolina Panthers today at home, and they've gotten swept by Carolina for the first time in 12 years. And yeah, I mean that's just absolutely embarrassing. Bryce Young had the best game of his career versus the Falcons, like he always does. He sets a new career high, 448 yards, which is actually a team record for the Carolina Panthers. It's the most passing yards a Panthers quarterback has ever had in a game. Bryce Young set that record today. Ted McMillan had an amazing game. Xavier Legette had a great game. This defense, they showed no life late. They fell apart. Michael Penix got injured. Kirk Cousins came in, looked absolutely awful, threw hospital balls to everybody, got Drake London injured, got pretty much every receiver. Darnell Mooney got injured today. This game could not have gone worse for the Falcons. And it leads me all to say Raheem Morris needs to be fired after this game. There's, I think, no point in waiting for the inevitable of what is going to happen. You need to go ahead. You need to get it done. You need to fire Raheem Morris right now because we know that this Falcons team under Raheem Morris, they do not play consistent. They do not play inspired. They're not well coached. They don't know how to finish out games. It has been 8 years now since the Falcons have last made the playoffs. We're going on 8 losing seasons in a row. And at some point, it really does beg for a true change to happen with this organization. We let go of Raheem Morris 5 years ago because you tried to move on from that Dan Quinn era. You tried to move on from that era that had tainted and haunted Falcons history. And then after you fire Arthur Smith, what do? You bring Raheem Morris back. You think, oh, he's learned from Sean McVay. He's learned from the Rams. No, he's making the same mistakes that Dan Quinn made. He's making the same mistakes he made in Tampa. The dude is not an NFL head coach. He needs to be fired. You need to come out if you're Arthur Blank and you need to admit that you made the wrong choice at head coach. You once again got it wrong. And because I'm telling you right now, there are so many people that already are disengaged. Today's game is just going to disengage so many more people. So many people that, just like myself, that have been trying to believe in this Falcons team, that have been trying to wait on this Falcons team, are getting tired of waiting, are getting tired of sitting around and waiting for the results. It really doesn't matter how many great player individual performances that we see. At the end of the day, this team hasn't made the playoffs in 8 years. I don't think anyone cares about, at the end of the day, Bijan Robinson's a great player, but we don't care about going and seeing Bijan Robinson. You don't care about going and seeing Drake London's an amazing player. He has been consistent. I really hope that he ends up being okay with his knee injury. No one's going to see just one player. They're going to see a team. We want to see the Falcons win, and they're not doing that. They haven't done it in a long time, and it is a very core issue with this franchise. In a game like today, we have seen so many times over the years, and there's only so many times that you can see it before the camel's back breaks. And I would say it hasn't just broken, it's absolutely collapsing right now. And it's going to leave Arthur Blank with a very tough decision to make, and hopefully he will make the right decision. Hopefully he's not going to keep deflecting that decision. This was a game that, you know, it was not even necessarily heading into this game about making the playoffs for the Falcons. It was just about winning a game. It was just about getting back into the win column, being able to win and avoid a sweep against a divisional rival in the Carolina Panthers, a team that you know takes a lot of pride in beating you. You know they're going to come down here. You know they're going to play you tough. So you just got to show up. You have to take care of business. You were up early 21-7. The run game was working, and to be fair, Carolina made their adjustments, but you didn't stick with the run game. You tried to get cute in the second half. Carolina, to their credit, went down and got a touchdown to begin the second half, and then you had a fumble on the ensuing kickoff return. And that is really when momentum started to shift, because after that is when Michael Penix got injured and then Drake London got injured, and it was just a slow but sure collapse until the game ended in an overtime loss. So at the end of the day, there's really not much else to say. I could, there's several players I could give game balls to. I'm not giving a game ball to anyone today because I'm not in the mood to say anything positive about the Falcons right now, because there is nothing positive about the Falcons. I'm done with the single player. Well, look what this guy did. Look what this guy did. Yeah, Ronnie Harrison. He had a great game today. It didn't matter. We lost. The defense. And Jeff Ulbrich, I also think he has lost a lot of stock these past couple of games. Last week with Jonathan Taylor having his big career day on the ground, and then this week with Bryce Young having his big career game through the air. That defense that we have seen is losing a lot of stock, but I mean, still, I'm going to say, how much can you really blame them? Because they were out on the field once again for nearly 40 minutes today. The offense did not give them any support in the second half, was not able to do anything to put that game to rest. After being up 21-7, you only scored 6 points the rest of the way. You got outscored 23-6 after you went up in second quarter with that touchdown. It's absolutely asinine. You're not going to win games in this league, and you don't deserve to be a head coach in this league. I think for the Falcons at this point, it's beyond, you know, any sort of, the postseason dream has been dead, but it's beyond even any sort of salvaging the season. If there is any chance to even try to make still something out of this season, maybe to try to get a winning record and get to 9 wins and finally cross that hurdle that you haven't been able to cross in 8 years, that dream ended today. When you look at the rest of this Falcons schedule right now, I probably only see about 2 guaranteed wins, if that, the rest of the year. Because, yes, we got to play the Saints twice, but at this point, we're really not that much better than the Saints. And it's really hard to say, but it's so hard, I think, to even be excited about that Saints game at this point, especially if Raheem Morris is still the coach. Hopefully he's not. Hopefully the right decision is made. But if Raheem Morris is still the coach, it's going to be very hard to even get excited about that game. The Jets, maybe we find a way to win that, but you mean to tell me the Falcons are beating the Seahawks? They're going to beat the Bucks? We never play well out in Arizona. The Rams are going to come here late in the year and probably wrap up a playoff spot in primetime against us. Then you got the Saints the final week of the year. It's about to be a very rough end of the season for the Falcons. And with Michael Penix now reported to be out several weeks, really, it eliminates any purpose that you could have to your season, because Kirk Cousins was absolutely awful today, and Kirk Cousins does not need to be on this football team anymore. He pretty much threw hospital balls on every chance he was given. He got guys injured. You need to get Kirk Cousins out of here. There is a reason why I did not want Kirk Cousins on this team. This is exactly why. Kirk Cousins does not have any of that magic anymore that could have went and led us to a victory. It's just not there anymore with Kirk Cousins. But now, with your future franchise quarterback in Michael Penix hurt, you really got no choice but to throw Kirk Cousins out there. And honestly, it makes it harder and harder to even turn on the TV every Sunday or go to the bins every Sunday. I mean, it's a very sad but an unfortunate reality. And as long as Raheem Morris is the coach of this team, it's going to be hard to get excited about anything. This was a game that Raheem Morris had to have, the players had to have, basically everything about the Atlanta Falcons, the fans, all of that. You had to have this game, not even to get back in any sort of postseason contention, but just to get a win. And you weren't even able to do it today at home versus the Panthers. So there's really not much else to be said. Raheem Morris needs to be fired. Shout out to the Panthers for breaking out the brooms and sweeping us. I know it's been something that the Panthers have been waiting to do for a very long time. And at the end of the day, you give credit to Carolina, and it also shows that we are once again falling back. The Bucks, they're currently dominating the division, and now the Panthers are ahead of us, ahead of schedule. They have their quarterback, they have their coach, and now at this rate, the Falcons, you don't know what the future looks like with who's going to be the coach next year. The Falcons once again stand years away from truly being a contender at this rate in time. We stand years away from even talking about the postseason, and it's already been 8. Raheem Morris needs to be fired. It was an absolutely embarrassing loss. There's nothing else to be said. But once again, I'm going to say it one more time. Fire Raheem Morris. Thank you all for watching.